While Canadian troops fought overseas, Nazi spies were quietly operating right on Canadian soil. Hidden radio transmitters, covert landing spots, and a secret plot the history books ignored. Today, we uncover the shocking true story of the Nazi spy ring inside Canada. Topic 1. The silent infiltration of the Canadian coast. Looking out at Canada's vast, frigid Atlantic coastline, you really start to get how a false sense of security can leave us wide open to the quietest dangers. Back at the height of the Second World War, while everyone's attention was locked on the battlefields of Europe, German U-boats were crossing the ocean and surfacing right in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Man, the peace and quiet of those little coastal towns in New Brunswick and Quebec seemed rock solid. But under cover of darkness, trained agents were rowing ashore in rubber dinghies with one clear goal: set up a hidden base right in the heart of North America. The plain, hard truth is that ignoring the small cracks in our defenses almost always ends up costing us big time. Man, that infiltration tactic actually teaches us something deep about personal vigilance, the kind of thing thinkers like Napoleon Hill talked about. When we assume we're totally safe just because of our borders or our daily routine, we end up letting our guard down against threats working in the shadows. To put this into practice in your own life, do a thorough audit of your daily routine and figure out where your blind spots are, whether that's in your household budget or how you manage your time. Reading classics like Sun Tzu's The Art of War helps sharpen that same alert, strategic eye so you can spot problems before they snowball. Those spies knew Canada was the perfect backdoor in. Here's the real kicker. Walking around in unfamiliar territory takes a flawless disguise and a level of adaptability that hardly anyone can keep up for long. Those men carried fake identities, wads of Canadian cash, and cutting-edge communication gear to track Allied shipping routes. But moving through a place where every local knows each other by sight is a psychological test that puts your caution on the line with every single step. Every glance on the street, every casual chat in a coffee shop, carried the looming risk of total exposure. It would have only taken one thing out of place to set off the whole town's alarm bells. Topic 2. Clandestine transmitters and the hunt for secret signals. Once settled on Canadian soil, the Nazi intelligence agents had one clear mission: turn invisible data into deadly ammunition against Allied convoys. Man, from the wild far north of Labrador down to the isolated woods of the East Coast, they set up radio stations and automatic weather stations to send daily reports straight to Berlin. The plain, hard truth is those transmissions traveled through the airwaves like ghosts, feeding U-boats the exact conditions they needed to ambush ships loaded with supplies. While Canadians figured the war was thousands of kilometers away, enemy signals were cutting through the skies of their own country without asking permission. Man, this whole scenario gives us a powerful lesson about the importance of focus and discipline, principles Napoleon Hill really hammered home in his philosophy. Just like radio frequencies travel where we can't see them, our own thoughts and daily attitudes send out signals that shape our reality and what opportunities we attract. If you want to apply that to your work life today, start cutting out the invisible distractions that drain your energy, and dig into books like Daniel Goleman's Focus to shield your mind from outside noise. Acting with strategy and clarity is what separates people who master their environment from those who get pushed around by it. Canadian intelligence knew this, and they weren't about to just sit back. Here's the real kicker. Catching a clandestine signal in a country as massive as Canada is like looking for a needle in a frozen haystack. Army and mounted police operators worked around the clock, using direction-finding antennas to try and triangulate exactly where those short bursts of Morse code were coming from. Every second counted, because the German spies knew the danger and kept changing locations to dodge detection. But the invaders' illusion of control started crumbling the moment their caution gave way to overconfidence. The smallest human slip-up was about to hand over the whole network. Topic 3. The fatal mistake and the fall of the Abwehr network. The infiltrators' arrogance, combined with the sharp instincts of the local folks, ended up sealing the fate of that secret operation. Man, when German spy Werner von Janowski landed in New Brunswick, He figured his flawless training would make him invisible to the locals. The plain, hard truth is, it was the little everyday details, like paying for a hotel room with old Canadian bills that weren't even in circulation anymore, and reeking of strong European cigarettes, that tipped off the hotel owner. Within a few hours, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police were on the case, and the net closed in hard on the infiltrator. Man, this whole outcome shows us how overconfidence and not paying attention to the small stuff can wreck even the most carefully laid plans. As Napoleon Hill taught in his work, real excellence takes constant self-check and rigorous care with every single step toward a goal. To bring this lesson into your own life, try carefully reviewing your work projects or your weekly budgeting before jumping in, and iron out those little sneaky mistakes. Reading Mark Williams' Mindfulness is a great starting point for building that kind of present-moment awareness in your everyday life. The attentiveness of everyday Canadians was the spark that took down the whole charade. Here's the real kicker. Catching that agent was just the first domino to fall on Canadian soil. Under intense interrogation, authorities started mapping out the radio network's connections and landing points along the coast, one by one. The whole structure Nazi intelligence had set up to spy on North America was being quietly dismantled, without Berlin even knowing right away. Still, the marks left by this invisible invasion carry lessons that plenty of history books have chosen to leave out to this day. And the real impact of this whole episode was about to go way beyond just catching a few guys. Topic 4. The lesson in vigilance and the forgotten legacy of the war. The way this spy hunt on Canadian soil wrapped up showed that a nation's best defense isn't just its weapons, but the unity and alertness of its people. Man, taking down the Abwehr network stopped strategic info about troop and supply movements from ever reaching Nazi command in Europe. The plain, hard truth is this whole episode proved that the geographic isolation of the Americas was nothing but a comforting illusion in the face of a determined enemy. If it hadn't been for the sharp instincts of ordinary citizens and the quick action of the Mounties, the safety of the Atlantic shipping routes could have turned out a lot differently. Man, this hidden chapter of our history leaves us with a powerful lesson about resilience and unshakable purpose. As strategic thinkers and authors like Napoleon Hill always stressed, winning any cause comes down to keeping your eyes wide open and acting with firmness against hidden threats. To bring that kind of leadership mindset into your own journey, try practicing conscious decision-making every day and sharpen your mind with life-changing reads like Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. Building a strong, watchful mindset is the first step to protecting your dreams from getting sabotaged. Canada learned that lesson firsthand and protected its borders like a champ. Here's the real kicker. The story of this secret conspiracy ended up on the back burner in school textbooks, buried under the bigger narratives of overseas battles. Still, remembering how ordinary men and women protected the country from the shadows gives us a real sense of just how strong our community can be. Understanding this forgotten conspiracy isn't just about looking back. It's about recognizing the responsibility we carry to protect our legacy today. This saga of courage and vigilance at the heart of the country comes to an end, but the principles it teaches us are more relevant than ever. Conclusion. Faced with this fascinating conspiracy uncovered right on our own coast, the big question that sticks with us is, how much have you really been keeping your eyes open for the quiet details and dangers in your own daily life? This true story proved that the feeling of absolute security is just an illusion, and that real victory belongs to those who act with vigilance, focus, and courage in the face of the unknown. What are you going to do today to shield your goals and take full control of your destiny? If digging up this piece of our history sparked some deep thoughts and added real value to your life, don't waste any time. Subscribe to the channel right now and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the most incredible forgotten episodes from our past.